up, folks? Welcome to Shooters.
I wouldn't wait forever. Just shoot your shot. We don't need no more, no extras. We all we got.
Times they are a-changin', folks. The times they are a-changin'. We're all making adjustments. I'm drinking orange juice with some pulp in it. Some pulp. I prefer no pulp. Pulp-free is what I prefer, but it's not available. The stores have run out of pulp-free orange juice. You know what else has run out? You know what else is gone? People's sanity is also gone, but it's all right. For today's episode, first of all, welcome. My name's Adam Swanson. Shooters is now available on podcast form, so Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all that, anywhere you listen to a podcast. And so if you prefer to listen, go listen. And then if you heard me listening first somehow, you can watch, if you prefer, on YouTube, Adam Swanson Vlogs. But in order to avoid talking about coronavirus for an entire episode, I did a little Instagram send topics thing. So I got a few topics from you guys. So I'm going to read off topics that you guys sent on Instagram and keep this thing a-truckin', baby. So first things first, for today, we have Tom Brady to the Buccaneers. Woo! The Buccaneers, baby, is the last place I'd picture Tom Brady to go to. I actually said vocally that I don't think he'll ever leave the Patriots, just because his legacy there, it's unlike any other. But I think what he's shooting for here, well, first of all, he obviously loves the sport. To stick around this long, he's still healthy too, which lucky for him. I'm sure there are some other guys who would have stuck around longer if their health would allow them to. So he does love the sport, obviously. But I think what he's shooting for with the Buccaneers is total, undeniable GOAT status, right? He's got a lot of people pushing for his GOAT already, that he is the GOAT. But if he accomplishes anything in Tampa Bay, and he has a few opportunities to. Tampa is hosting the Super Bowl this year, and a team that has hosted the Super Bowl has never made it to the Super Bowl in history. So if he does that, he's the first ever. But also, if he goes to a team where nobody even knows anybody there, who's the coach at Tampa? Who knows? Not even Tampa Bay fans. They're like, who's our coach? They don't know. So if he accomplishes anything great there, then people can't go and say, oh, well, he's got Bill Belichick. Oh, well, he's got Josh McDaniels. Or he's got the best defense helping him out. Or Gronkowski helping him out, and this and that. Nobody's going to be able to say that. Now, I do think they'll get some stars. They got, what's his name? That good receiver there, Evans or whatever. And I do think now that Tom Brady is there, more people will shift to the team. But we'll see. You never know what might happen. I'm drinking some pulp orange juice, and Tom Brady's playing with the Buccaneers. Never know. Life is fickle. Anything can change just like boom, 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 like bang, like that. Fickle. Greatest college football player of all time. Tim Tebow, dog. I think Tim Tebow gets a lot of his college career gets a lot of attention just based on because of how his NFL career went. He didn't have the skill set that any coach was looking for, I guess, which is, he still had that win at all costs type of thing when he got to the NFL, but he didn't have the quarterback skills that most NFL teams were looking for, so it didn't pan out. But he was a legend in college. The greatest college football player of all time is probably someone that I wasn't fortunate enough to watch. One of the legends like Barry Sanders or something like that. But when I was coming up, when I was first starting to watch football, I was watching college football. And I was watching in the Vince Young, Reggie Bush days. So Vince Young, I remember him. I was just getting into football. I remember him rocking the really thin, skinny wristbands. And he was the first person I saw to do that. The rest of them were all fat. So I was a Vince Young, Reggie Bush guy. Probably those two dudes for me. That's just who I watched, though. So it depends on probably who you grew up watching, who you think the answer is. Next, best bar in Denver. There's this little place I like to call Haters, also known as Tap 14, because we're upstairs only. You'll only catch me upstairs only at Haters, because if you're going downstairs, it just means you want trouble or you want something bad to happen, probably, if you're hanging out downstairs. But Tap 14, Haters, it's the best bar in Denver, hands down. If you disagree, then how's it feel to be wrong? Get back to me. How does it feel to be wrong about that? All right, next. Joe Exotic. Oh, gosh, here we go. Joe Exotic is a cool guy. My spirit animal. If a tiger is his spirit animal, Joe Exotic is my spirit animal. And he is an animal. But he's not the Tiger King, honestly. He's not the Tiger King. That title belongs to that Carol Biskin, or whatever her name is, the chick that he fights throughout the entire documentary. Let me give some background. Joe Exotic is a character in a recent Netflix documentary called Tiger King. And it's pretty crazy. I'm going to try to talk about this without giving away too many spoilers, just in case you want to go watch it. But Tiger King, Netflix documentary, and it's ridiculous. It's about this guy owns a tiger farm. You quickly find out, 5 seconds into the documentary, you find out that him owning a tiger farm is the least crazy thing about him. It's the least crazy thing about him. It's a tiger zoo. I guess he has a zoo because he had some other animals. But the documentary is not about the tigers at all. It's about how crazy and psycho and unfortunate. That's the word I'm going to use to describe Joe Exotic. He's unfortunate because, he's guilty of all the same things that everybody else is in that documentary. You know, Carol Baskin, she's the Tiger King because she has everyone fooled. She's killing tigers. She keeps them in cages. But yes, she's this character that acts like what Joe Exotic does is awful and against. She's animal rightsy, but she's doing all the evil things as well. So she has all the PETA people fooled. So the PETA thinks that she's on their side. All the PETA supporters think that she's on their side. But she's a genius. She's killing and keeping all these tigers captive, but marketing it as she's rescuing these tigers. The name of her company is called Big Cat Rescue. So she got away with everything. She actually murdered her husband, which is kind of a spoiler or whatever. She murdered her husband in broad daylight and didn't get sent to jail for it. Even the cops were like, oh, she's cool. She had the cops fooled. Right? As soon as, this guy, her husband, was scared for his life before she killed him. Was sending out letters and stuff to people saying, hey, she's going to kill me. And then he dies, and all the lawyers and cops are like, freedom of speech. She said she's going to kill you. Big deal. But then Joe Exotic sends somebody a text that says, go kill this chick in the parking lot. Boom, jail. So no freedom of speech there for Joe Exotic. Carol Baskin got away with killing her husband, and Joe Exotic couldn't even get away with wanting to kill somebody. He couldn't even get away with telling somebody else to kill somebody. Joe Exotic, bang, jail, and then bang, kill tigers too. So does everybody else. That Doc Antle, the Hugh Hefner of the Tiger game, the Hugh Hefner of the Tiger realm, he was killing tigers in the craziest ways imaginable. He's not going to jail. So part of me feels bad for Joe Exotic because he was surrounded. The industry he was in was filled with terrible, terrible criminals, or so the documentary seems. My main problem with documentaries is they suck. I haven't seen a good documentary on Netflix ever. So in no way am I recommending this to anybody to watch. Had to put that out there. But so the documentary made it seem that this industry of personally owned zoos was filled with criminals and awful, awful, awful people. And Joe Exotic seemed to be the only one who took the heat for it. And don't come after me saying, how could you stick up for the Tiger King? Listen, I'm not trying to defend Joe Exotic, but I am trying to bring everybody else that was in this documentary down with him. He can't be the only bad guy. He can't be the only bad guy, folks. It can't be your only takeaway from this horrific documentary. The thing about documentaries is it's just a bunch of random people talking, just like my podcast. I'm just sitting here talking. I'm just some frick. I'm just some frickin' random dude, and I'm sitting here talking, and you're sitting there listening to what I'm saying. And that's what a documentary is. It's just a bunch of fricks talking. You don't know who the frick they are, what the frick they do other than meth. You don't know anything about them. You can say, that guy has done a lot of meth in his days, or you can say, that guy's still currently doing meth. He did some a little bit before the camera started rolling. And that's about all you know about these people who start talking about these issues. And the only reason they get to sit on that documentary and talk is because they knew somebody that did something crazy. And so anybody can tell any story they want, and the documentary is going to seem like, hey, that's fact. This is fact. This is true. But I don't view documentaries like that. Skeptical. Call me lazy thinker. But you also call me boss, big boy, when you write articles about me in blogs. And that's all I'm going to frickin' say, you fricks. Thanks for watching again. This is Shooters. And subscribe. Deuce.